Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Olena Rybak. I'm the Vice Chair of the European Ukrainian Energy Agency, and I'm super pleased to welcome you today at our next edition of EUEA podcast, EUEA.Dialogues. It is impossible to talk about Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction without engaging the voices of those who are on a daily basis struggling and working hard, not only to secure basic services and basic life for our residents, but also in the times of unprecedented instability and crisis to actually plan the future, to plan this better future, to keep our Ukrainian people in Ukraine, to invite investors to develop investment projects and to implement the reconstruction projects per se. I'm extremely pleased to welcome our guest of today, Yaroslav Tsvirkun, the mayor of Pereshchepyne territorial community in Dnipro region, who will be our guest for today. Welcome, Yaroslav.
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure for me to be here today and to talk about investments, let's say about our municipalities at our local level. Because today we will talk about small municipalities in Ukraine and how it is very important to support them.
Yes, thank you, Yaroslav. So let's jump here. Your community is not too small, but also not big, just some about 20,000 people. You're located in Dnipro region, which is just a couple of 100 kilometers away from the front lines. How are you dealing with your challenges today? What are these challenges, and how are you planning this economic development and investments at times like today?
So actually, our municipality is located at the border, Dnipropetrovsk and Kharkiv region, so it is not so far from, let's say, the starting point of Russian aggression. But one of the challenges that we faced with is a big amount of internally displaced people, which we hosted in our municipality, and. Every day we are working in order to help them, in order to support, and this is why financial resources and investment activities is very important for us and for the nearest future, because we need to create new working places for them, new houses, because this is new citizens for us, and we will work in order to create some new services for them. So during the war, we faced a lot of different challenges, and the majority of them are related to the internally displaced people, and this is why it is very important to cooperate together with international partners, because we would like to attract not like donors, but also new businessmen and new companies who can create new workplaces in our municipality.
Thank you. And so as a mayor, right, you have so many priorities. Every day there is obviously something urgent popping up. How are you defining these priorities? What are they at the moment? Is it communal infrastructure, energy supply, as we said, housing for residential areas? How do you manage to prioritize when everything is needed and everything is urgent?
Actually, I know that in order to satisfy the needs of our citizens, our people, we need to, first of all, to create a priority, because we have a lot of challenges: water supply, housing, different treatments, and so on. But first of all, we need to create the roadmap in order to renew infrastructure and so on. This is why it was very important to create and develop our local strategy for developing our municipality. We worked together with citizens, with the international partners, with the regional administration, and foreign experts, and so on. It was very important because we me and my team, administration, I know that we need to work every day, step by step, in order to satisfy the needs for any villages. Because in our community, in our Hromada, we have 21 settlements, one town, and 20 villages. Uh, we have about 21,000 of citizens, and every of them has different needs and priorities. This is why the common strategy for our municipality it is very important. And in our strategy, we created different ways to renovate our municipality. This is like water supply, infrastructure, new working places, uh, medical, healthcare, and so on. We have a lot of different priorities, but about five of them are the main important for us.
And if we're talking about success stories of your cooperation as a small community already with some international organizations or international investors, is there something that you would already be proudly able to share, or is this still work in progress?
Yeah, we have a couple of best success stories. We cooperate together with donors from Germany. A couple of weeks ago, they together with the embassy of Germany in Ukraine, they created a very interesting movie about our cooperation and support of Germany. Financial resources that they attracted from Germany to our municipality, because they built it, a new hospital in our municipality. It cost about 1,500,000 euros. We have like a new spirit of providing services in terms of healthcare. Yeah, it is very a big support for us. We right now we are working in order to create a new cooperation with some municipalities from Germany, because we would like to sign some memorandum for cooperation. And one of the best stories of cooperation is our municipality together with Slovenia, because we have a new partner, Idria. Mr. Tomasz is the mayor of Idria municipality. Right now, we are working together in the field of waste management, because we would like to create a new capacity for make it better and cleaner our area in terms of waste management generation. This is why it is very important, because maybe 1 month ago we hosted embassy of Slovenia in Ukraine in our municipality, and we talked about this cooperation, our future plans. At the end of this month, we will be in Lviv together with our partners from Slovenia. Maybe we will sign some memorandum for cooperation. We will play football. Ukrainian mayors together with Slovenian mayors. Because this is very important, not just with some financial support or to cooperate in the field of business and so on, but very important also to develop interpersonal cooperation and relationship. This is very important, because we are going to enter European Union. Ukraine really has a desire to be a part of European Union. This is why we need to cooperate together, person by person, together with our international partners. And I know that right now international experts from Slovenia working together with us in order to prepare some technical documentation for future construction of some capacity for the waste management. I think that this will be one of the best success stories, because we signed a memorandum for cooperation with all our neighbor municipalities in our region, Samar region. These 8 municipalities, together with the regional administration, together with the Department of Ecology, we signed a memorandum for cooperation in the field of waste management. And
May I ask here, because you're explaining a lot of international partnerships and dialogues, may I ask here, I often hear from smaller communities like yours, smaller cities, that it's quite difficult if you're a newcomer to all these international cooperation programs, that it's quite difficult to receive this support for both preparation, financing and implementation of these infrastructure programs, let's call them, or projects. You are naming now quite a few, but what is your general impression? Are there enough tools and programs designed for the needs of communities like yours, for your size, for your affordability possibilities? Is it enough for you and for communities like yours, or is there room for improvement?
No, I think no, because the big cities, Ukrainian cities, and big municipalities has some advantage in this field because they have more the bigger budget. They have more resources in order to attract very talented and maybe more paid specialists who can speak English, who can attract resources, who can maybe create a new projects to describe them and so on. It is more difficult for us because we need to find motivated people to look for some tools and financial resources in order to motivate them. And there are not so a lot of people in the small towns who can work in this field and to help us to attract new relationship, new resources and so on. And this is why, even abroad from Ukraine, more maybe known or maybe the people who can who has more resources and bigger team, more power and so on. It is much easier for them to find partners and so on, like Dnipro, Lviv, Kiev, and maybe even Pridniprovsk and so on. They have.
How big is your team? Because I assume it's like international cooperation or economic development team. So you are one of these young, super dynamic English-speaking mayors, which is also not a very common story, unfortunately, for many communities. So yours is very lucky to have you for sure. How big is your team with whom you are managing all these international initiatives that you have just described?
Actually, in our municipality, we work together with 70 people, this team, but this is in different fields. But if we talk about international cooperation, we have like Department for International Cooperation and Investment Resources. We have 3 people.
And well, I understand. Compared to, I don't know, Kiev or Lviv or something like this is quite difficult to manage with 3 people.
And this is, I'm always trying to attract the possibilities to teach them English and project management skills and so on.
Yes. That's super. If we are talking, so you have limited resources, there are not so many options of to which institutions you can approach for an investment of, I don't know, couple of million euros. I know if we're talking not about grant, but the loan funding, it is already quite difficult to even afford a loan under the current economic conditions for a community like yours. Is there already like a case where you would say there was a project, a super needed project or idea that you would so much like to implement in the community that is desperately needed, I don't know, very sustainable, would create local jobs, but you have not managed to find the right partners and investors or supporters for this?
Actually, we have different ideas, different projects which we would like to implement in our municipalities, maybe even together with international partners, because I know that we have very good market in the construction field. For example, we have very big amount of internally displaced people who are looking for some new houses. Even in order to find some places for the temporary living. Actually, right now it's very difficult to find free places for the living in our municipality, and I think this is very good and free market for the construction companies because they can find, for example, some lands in our municipality to build a new building, new houses for even for selling. We can try to find some investors for this because before the war we had a lot of free flats, houses, and so on. And right now, even for our local citizens, it's very difficult to find, even for temporary usage. And this is one of the field. Actually, we are working together with Slovenia partners in order to build a new waste management center. We would like to attract some resources, maybe even from the private company, because maybe we can find some the ways for cooperation, because this is also a good market. Because in Ukraine, we, let's say, just starting working very hard in this field, because if we analyze the regulation of European Union, we need to go very fast in this field in waste management. Private and public cooperation could be.
So if we would talk to implement any project, you need people as resources, human resources, you need money, financial tools, you need technical or let's say engineering support with design documentation and technology providers, and quality construction companies to actually build. Out of these four, which one would be, you think, the most, where would you need most support from the international organizations and international partners at the moment? Is it money, as always, or something else is more important?
No, actually, everything is starting from interpersonal cooperation, from something small. Because when I was in some conferences in Berlin, where we talked together with the different mayors from different municipalities, not just from Germany, and every one of them saying, let's start from something small, maybe some exchange, maybe they said, okay, we can start with gifted to your municipality some maybe equipment like support for Ukraine during the war. But then we can start step by step in order to understand which projects we could realize in your municipality. Because, I talk to even different businessmen, some private companies in Germany, in Slovenia, and from other countries. Every one of them wants to cooperate with Ukraine, but we need to create, first of all, some investment passports, some list of our advantages. This is why, together with some international experts and our partners from Netherlands. Right now, we are working to create new investment passports with all points of advantages in our municipalities. Because we need to know what can we share with our international partners, what can we create and propose them in order to cooperate. Because right now to say, let's cooperate, let's do business, it doesn't work like this. We need to sell something.
And how often do you hear this? You are 200 kilometers away from the front lines. We are not going there anymore. Is this still on the other side of the responses when you invite investors to your community?
Actually, right now, no. Because, even in Odessa, they doing business every day. They're developing shops and so on. Maybe it's very difficult to start a very big company, very big business, to build something very big. But if we talk about some panels, electricity, or something else, or maybe some smaller companies, it works very well. But even it's very difficult to share something within international partners, because also we have investors in Ukraine. Our local companies in Ukraine also, they would like to develop their business. They always looking for new places, new possibilities, and so on. Right now, it's maybe sometimes it's very easier to find some investors from Ukraine, and this is what we are doing with. But we will have something more interesting in terms of cooperation, because we would like to find investors from Ukraine and to link them together with international partners, and to support from the local government and together with the regional administration to work together.
Okay. And what is, now that you mentioned the regional administration, how are they, or maybe also national government, are supporting communities like yours? Is there any dedicated support for you compared to, I don't know, the capital or other big million cities, as we call them?
Actually, I know that. I give you an example. For example, in my municipality, in my Hromada, we have 21 settlements. First of all, if we have some big resources, we are trying to support the part of Hromada where we will have more citizens. Because if they have the problems with the water supply or some equipment and so on, we are trying, first of all, to satisfy them. But from other part, we are working like in all Ukrainian talking about this, and international partners talking about this, that we need to have some public budget. We need to talk together with the people and to share some amount of money in order to ask people, citizens, even from the small villages, what you would like. This is why I would like cooperate together with the regional administration and with the Ukrainian government. They need to ask our small municipalities what you would like, which is your priority. Because right now we are trying to enter some governmental programs and so on, and we can obtain some money just for the program that government realizing. But this is very difficult, because if we have some problems with the water, we need to wait, because government supporting first of all big cities, then smaller, and maybe in 10 years will be our turn. This is very difficult, challenging, but this 10 years, some people need to wait for these resources. I know that when I was in Vienna in some scientific practical conference together with partners from EULEAD and from our representatives and scientists from Ukraine, we talked about this, and I am very happy that everything changing right now, because our international partners and companies and governments, they are talking about this, that first of all they need to ask municipalities and also small municipalities what you would like, which is your desire, which are your needs and so on. And we need to ask people in order to write to describe the list of these needs.
So, but with people, look, you are living there, right? You know your community, so most of the needs, I assume, and most of the priorities are quite clear to you. But we are now more than 3 years into war. So how often during this time have you been asked by either Ukrainian government or international organizations about what are these priority needs? And have you been asked, because they are developing these programs and initiatives all the time, they're deciding something in their rooms that might never work, right? And there are good programs, there are more successful programs, there are less successful programs. So have you been asked so far what kind of tools and support schemes would best work for community like yours?
Um,
But
actually,
honestly, did anyone ever ask you that? Honestly.
During these 3 years, we worked a lot together with the regional Samar military administration and Dnipro regional administration. We have a good cooperation, and this is why when we need some tools and some support, the bigger organization, international organization is, the more they asked the question and even support from regional administration, because they are asking, first of all, of them whether this municipality really has needs and so on. Because let's say also the municipalities can say, okay, we have a lot of different needs, and we need everything. But it doesn't work like this, because in order to satisfy all needs of all municipalities, it's very difficult, maybe even impossible in the nearest future, to find enough resources. This is why we're always looking for different tools. But from other part, the cooperation also very important at every level, because I know that a couple of partners from abroad we obtain with the support of Department of International Relationship of Regional Administration. Before the going to some conference abroad, they linked us together with the mayors of such. Because right now, uh, let's talk about, for example, Germany. They signed a memorandum of cooperation, Dnipro region in Ukraine with the Dnipro, with the some region in Germany. And after that, we started cooperation at our local municipal level. It's very also important.
Yeah. So when you were talking about tools and that you have some are working, some you have used, which are these best and easiest tools that would work for a community like yours? And there was we have one mayor of a bigger city. I won't quote now which one, but in one of the international conferences, he made a very interesting statement, and he said, "Please do not give me money. Give me equipment, give me people, and come and do. There is enough things to do." So this was his message to international or partners and organizations, like, come in and do, and we will set up the framework under which you can, I don't know, construct, deliver and install equipment, and so on. Because his point was that, look, don't give me money, because the minute I receive the money, I have a lot of specific troubles related to administration, different authorities, verification authorities, of how he's spending that money, right? So his idea was, don't give me money, come and do things. Which tools worked best for you so far that you would like to see more available for you?
Actually, we need to talk, first of all, about the honest. We need to talk with them honestly and to say true. This is why it's very important. When I talk together with some mayors or with some partners from abroad, I'm also always talking about the real needs. And when we described in Slovenia some project, when we step by step developed a new project in the field of waste management, we we divided this project on 3 different steps on 3 years. And after the returning to Ukraine, we lost a little bit the connection with some organization from Slovenia, because it was the end of the year. just planned some new financial resources for the next period and so on. But when they came back to our dialogue, to our project, they asked, "Oh, okay, we are ready to go forward. At which point are you right now?" And I said, "Okay, we described the project for 3 different parts. First part we already finished because it was important. We used our own money from our local budget, and it was very impressed for them. And they say, okay, this is really the best way in order to show us that it was very important for you, not just the words. This is first of all, and from other part, we're always talking about the people. For example, we would like to attract resources, but it doesn't mean that we need money. We always talking about the projects, and I said to our international partners, even from Slovenia, okay, you can find any company from Ukraine or maybe from Slovenia, they can earn money from your project and so on. For us, it's very important that the final result, when we have working places, waste management center, and a new system of waste management. So and they are happy because they are trying to find some partners from Ukraine, or maybe when they cannot find someone, we can suggest. Okay, we can say, okay, you can cooperate. This is the list of 3.3 till 10 organization. You can change or choose any of them. So
it's not only money, fine, I understand, but it also you cannot implement maybe the the waste collection and sorting facility you could do in the model that there is an operator coming in, you are supporting them, they're creating jobs and solving your problem with the waste. Fair enough, but this cannot function in all the in different infrastructure sectors, right? You have, I don't know, public lighting that needs to become energy efficient. You have kindergartens and schools that need to be, these are pure municipal, right? There is very little private sector investments that would work in there. There has to be loan programs, grant programs, and implementation capacities. So if we look broader at the city, right, some investment projects like waste collection centers and sorting can function in this sort of public-private partnership models. Do you think there is more applicability, or is there more tools? Is there, I don't know, a small credit line that maybe would be better? Are there more? Would you seek more partnerships with twin cities that can, with whom you can initiate smaller scale bilateral joint projects or something like this? What would work best for cities and communities like yours? Yes.
So actually, we have a lot of different ways of cooperation, but I think that the role of a mayor is just to sign, for example, memorandum and to find some ways of cooperation. But we need to, for example, how we can find these tools. Just our people in different fields need to cooperate with the same people from abroad. This is the tools. When we can link, for example, teachers from our schools with the teachers with the Slovenian tools. When we can create a roundtable and to send some memorandum for cooperation, business from Ukraine and a business from, let's say, any country abroad. We are trying to be helpful, we are trying to be honest, and we are trying even to support by our local from our local budget, maybe to prepare some territory by land, because cooperation it is not just to obtain resources from abroad. The waste management topic is very close to me. This is why I always give examples in this field, and I will give you another one example. When we talked together with the Slovenian partners, I said, okay, we need to build about 300 points, eco points for the generation with the bins, for the generation of the garbage. And I said, okay, we are allocated about 50,000 euro from our local budget in order to construct of let's say 20, 25 points. It will be a good example that we really need this. But for example, when I talk together with the partners, with the donors, and say, okay, maybe you can find some budget in order to buy some tracks from Slovenian companies with the Slovenian brands. They will be happy, and we will be happy, and also it will be a good cooperation international. But the most important is interpersonal cooperation when our citizens can cooperate and uh, to have some friendship with the people from abroad.
Building bridges, we call it. Okay. May I ask you, does your community already have international loans? So not grants or this like bilateral support. Have you ever received a loan from an international financial institution, SNEFCO, EIB, or BRD, or anyone else?
Actually, we don't have this experience.
Did you ever try?
Um, Actually, no.
Why not?
I talked to different municipalities with the mayors and so on, and I know that it was a good possibility just for the big cities, for the big towns and so on. Maybe we don't have so
May I
much.
ask you why is that? Here we're coming to the core of this problem. Why is it that a big city can apply and receive a loan and community like yours doesn't even try? Is it because it's not affordable? Is it because of the difficult procedure, or because you didn't know maybe, or not investigated this market?
First of all, because the lack of experience. The second one, because we need to have experienced lawyers, or maybe the people who can speak English, to have some international experience. The lack of people going to the lack of experience, and this is why we even didn't try. But right now we're working in the field of some to attract some new knowledge about cooperation, about new possibilities, and so on. And I'm sure that we will try in the nearest future. It will be something new, some new experience. But I hope that it will be a success story.
But have you heard of the loan programs that would be affordable and interesting and available for communities like yours? Because I often hear there are a number of institutions that are not financing projects of less than, I don't know, 10 million euros investments. And for a community like yours to receive a loan from international organization for 10 million euros is, correct me if I'm wrong, but is hardly possible, right? Because of the financial restrictions, policies of Ministry of Finance, and bilateral intercooperation agreements. And the smaller loans are very limited, right? There are a couple of players who are offering them for municipal loans with, I don't know, several percent of annual interest rates. But then again, there are currency risks and so on. Do you know of the products that are not only available but also affordable for your communities? Or maybe this is the area where we can look in, where we can look at to generate these ideas of future tools that would help communities like yours?
I think that loans will work very well, for example, in the field of water supply or energy efficiency and so on. When we, in the nearest future, we can save more money. And what is more important is the support from government or maybe regional administration, because to attract, for example, loans from abroad in order to build the roads or something else, I'm not sure in how many years we can return this money with the interests and so on. This is why
Okay.
it's very important. If we talk about infrastructure, we are looking for maybe grants or maybe some private-public cooperation or something like this. Because, but when we talked about for example, energy efficiency. Maybe it could be nice if we will construct some solar panels and we will save some money in the nearest future. Maybe it will work. If we,
Well, it's only, for us as Ukrainians, our planning horizon is, it was never long, even before the full-scale war. Now we are rarely able to plan anything further than, I don't know, 1 or 2 years, right? For when you are implementing an energy efficiency rehabilitation program, you need to have a forecast for, I don't know, 15, 20 years of, let's say, classic payback time. And this, of course, has to be considered when we are thinking how to support communities like yours with appropriate financial tools, right? Not just you can apply for a loan of minimum 10 million euros. You will never get it. It's impossible, right? And this is a big, this is one of these big gaps that I permanently see on the market, and I hope this will change, right? But we have to generate the demand for it. If more mayors like you would come up and say, look, we cannot do this, but this needs to be done. Because if we cannot ensure the modernized and more environmentally friendly schools, kindergartens, hospitals, and other public buildings, you cannot keep people. And if you cannot keep people, we are, it's like a circle. You cannot develop economy, you cannot invite investors because you have no one to create these jobs for, and this is like a circle. So it has to start and break somewhere, and maybe with more affordable loan program would be one of these. Okay, good. I would say that we could come closer to the end, but maybe before we finish this conversation, at least for today, I would maybe run still one more question, right? So we discussed which problems or challenges, let's not call them problems, right? These challenges, what success stories, right? So something you have managed already to do and to achieve. There is a big to-do list. There is lack of capacities. There are a number of international initiatives which you, as a mayor with your small international team, very small international team, you can only also do so much. But the needs are huge, right, in the community, and you want to develop and you want to grow. So let's imagine you would have now, I don't know, a number of international donor and finance organizations and investors in front of you, and you would have to throw a pitch in terms of why is it that the communities like Pereshchepyne deserve urgent attention and support in the Ukraine's reconstruction and overall recovery process. What would you tell to them in 1 or 2 minutes? Think wisely.
Yeah, actually, we have a lot of advantages in our small municipalities and small communities because we are very motivated. What does it mean when, for example, you are some donors or investors and you can go to big cities? They have a lot of different partners, donors, and so on, and they have a lot of bureaucracy. But when we, like a small municipalities, very motivated, we can help very quickly to organize the project. We can fund the land, to fund the territory, to have some even local small money, but we can allocate it to them for the creation some projects for to fund the electricity, water, and so on for these projects. So the motivation is one of the biggest advantage of small municipalities, and we are open for cooperation. If we
Thank you very
talk
much.
in 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Yaroslav. Thank you for all your enthusiasm and all the hard work you are doing in these very difficult times. And on the side of the European Ukrainian Energy Agency, we are trying to do and this is part of this, conversations that matter, and we try to deliver these messages to the broader audience. I would like to thank you for being with us today, to thank everyone who will be listening or is listening to us, who will be reading the summaries of these conversations. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so. And we will be looking forward to see you all again at the future EUEA Dialogue podcast. Thank you.
Thank you very much.